Debo. Good morning, Carver. Good morning, Michelle. All the listeners out there, good morning. Well, I'm looking over here at Atkinson Library, and steady stream of people coming in to vote. And some of these look like young folks. Hmm. So, anyway, phone lines are open. Phone lines open. Michelle got a long day today, boy.
Yes, y'all do.
Michelle got a long day.
We do.
Know what she gonna do?
We do.
I'm sorry. Wait, where's the lack of team? There should be some team. Team got along day today.
I ain't in team.
No, there's no I in team.
I ain't in team. Carmico, we got a long day. Everybody got a long
Yeah,
day.
we in here.
I hear Jackie
Let me
long
see
day.
how you spell team. T-E-A.
Jackie gonna be gone at noon.
What word can I use to describe your
TEIM.
your needed participation?
Me.
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 I like that. Okay.
Phone lines open 414-444-5250. 414-444-5250. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Do I have a special interview today? Oh my God. Ooh. Look at the God of Fates. Or incredible. It was interesting. You were just talking about Donald Trump. Yesterday, my conversation with Wanda Sykes. Wanda Sykes worked at the National Security Agency.
Still won't get over that.
And she said when he was running, when he got elected, she said, how is he even going to get a security clearance? and that was her exact word. She said, that's what I was thinking. Like, how could this dude? And I'm trying to figure out if you're a convicted felon, because if you're a convicted felon, that would impact you getting security clearance in normal situations. Now, the president of the United States can give that to anyone.
He did it for Jared.
Right. And he can do it to anyone. But this idea that under normal circumstances, you wouldn't even be able to do your job. It's like a police officer.
He wouldn't be able to be a housekeeper in the White House. He couldn't even be, he couldn't even be in environmental services. He couldn't be a groundskeeper.
She also mentioned because he owes money to other entities,
right,
that he would be a threat in that manner as
because
well.
of extortion, that people could put pressure. That was the whole rationale behind not letting gay people serve in foreign service, because they thought that if they were exposed, they would be compromised, and so they would be more likely to be targets of blackmail. And so anyway, 414-444-5250. Have you voted already? We voted early by mail. I thought it was interesting. The sister said in Germantown that they wouldn't allow. They allowed her the first time. You're right. They should not have. I remember a couple of years ago, Rhonda and I had our ballots. We went to church. I think it was Souls to the Polls. So on Souls to the Polls Sunday. And so we decided to drop our ballots off at the old Capitol, the old Midtown location. Mm-hmm. And when we pulled up, Rhonda was on the passenger side. She handed the two ballots. And he said, is the other person in the car with you? And that just happened to be me. So
just happened
to be me. And it was my ballot.
It wasn't that other dude?
No. That other dude.
The good looking one?
He was already.
It wasn't the other dude?
He had already voted.
Man, y'all trying to send me to jail on election day.
What?
How you go to jail on election day? what? Some other dude went with you to vote?
That's Michelle being crunchy. That's Michelle being crunchy, not me, Rhonda.
Somebody else went to vote with you? What's his name?
That's who usually go with it.
Because you usually at work. When she go with you,
Michelle, Rhonda. That's not me.
When she go with you, she just turned in an empty folder.
I heard this joke. There was a barber shop, and so dude would come in, and he said, "Hey man, how long you gonna be?" Dude said, "Oh man, I'm looking probably about an hour." He said, "Okay." Then he leave, come back. "Hey dude, how long you gonna be?" He said, man, about an hour and a half, like it was yesterday. He said, "Okay, I'll be back." Came back the third day. Dude said, how long you going to be? He said, "Man, I done told you 2 days in a row." And same thing, about an hour and a half. So he left. So he had one of his boys. He said, "Follow him." So the boy followed him. This boy came back. He said, "Where'd he go?" "To your house." Caller, welcome to the program. Good morning.
Yes, I voted early. I voted early, and like I said, it was the ballot was pretty confusing. I guess is it done deliberately where they have all these? What I'm finding is a lot of issues on the ballot. So you just go through. It was about 3 pages. I mean, is it done intentionally so they hope that you won't ever vote for these other issues or something like that? Is this your opinion or something like that?
Well, that's the great state of Colorado. We only have one referendum question. It's a constitutional one about a word change in our constitution. Everything else is just the candidates. And because in many jurisdictions, municipalities, areas here, a lot of these primaries, I mean, a lot of these elections are foregone conclusion, even a heavily Republican area where the Republican nominee probably has no Democratic or very low Democratic opposition. Same thing here in Milwaukee, where the Dems are going in, and those guys for state legislature, people for state senate who are up, depending on where you are, because of gerrymandering. Is that the issue for us? We have two major issues here, not two major items. One is obviously the presidential, and two, a very hotly contested Senate race between Tammy Baldwin and Eric Hovde. So, yeah, we're not as complicated. A lot to vote for, though, because you got to go down. There's probably two sides to the ballot. I'm trying to remember. No, it's just one side because we mailed ours in. The day we received them. We mailed them in. So.
Yeah, but like I said, does that make it? I think they were talking about what's your idea about ranked choice voting? I don't know if I asked you that.
You'd asked me that before, and it depends. I know some people do it. In my mind, obviously we grow and like mail-in balloting. More and more people now are doing mail-in balloting, for example. So I don't have a real opinion on it because I don't clearly understand how it would be applicable in certain races. So I just prefer not to comment on it.
No, they were just talking about the way it works. They're trying to make it. I'm in Nevada right now. They're trying to make it. They're going state by state, trying to make it so it's in their, I guess, constitution or statutory.
Right.
And well, the way it is you would select your first choice, your second choice, your third choice, and your fourth choice. You'd write them down, and then they would flip then they would go to 50%, and then they would keep on doing it until somebody got 50%. And so your fourth choice may become the governor or the mayor or something like that. And I mean, is that get rid of but your fourth choice could become elected in that position. And they said it's going to take away the politics from maybe so not so partisan, but it's going to give more freedom, more choices to people.
After Citizens Unite, what you find is there's just more money in politics now. And I'm sure even though, like, for example, our Supreme Court elections are nonpartisan, but partisan groups get behind particular candidates. And so then the spending is based on these other outside groups who then go in to support or oppose a particular candidate. All right, man.
Take care.
All right, man. 414-444-5250, 414-444-5250. Let station management know.
I'm letting you know it's your show. Carvey is back.
Gave him some.
Carvey, turn your mic over.
You gave him some power back there. Yeah, I'm the airman over here.
Carvey is in the building. Carvey said,
exert your power.
Woo! I love it. Like he told you yesterday, I'm back.
I'm back. 414-444-5250. So
Don't nobody want to talk this
So
morning.
you didn't miss going into the polls when you guys just mail in? No,
I don't miss standing in line.
you don't miss like talking to the old people.
I don't miss standing talk to the old people. I don't miss standing up there. The old people can't find my address. And then they talking to the other old person who's like trying to match my name. No, I don't miss any of that.
You don't miss people be like,
No,
"Oh, baby, it's so good to see you, baby."
well, you need to be focusing, Mama, on those on my name. As for Rhonda, it gets real confusing because what is her last name? You know, because she goes Rhonda Taylor Parris. So is she listed under Taylor or is she listed under Parris?
Oh.
And so over at Indus Park, they just.
So you heard the brother this morning, Mr. Riley said she changed her whole name to his name.
Which Riley? Not Prince.
No, it was another brother that called in this morning. He's talking about him and his wife going to vote. So Rhonda just gave you a little bit of props. It was Taylor Parris. See? Don't mess up because you halfway out the door. That's the other dude that went to drop off her ballot. That's the other dude she went with to drop off her ballot.
Anybody else's woman's band going to vote with them? The phone lines open. Caller, welcome to the program. Good morning. You should talk to Chief Norman about domestic violence at the polling place. Good morning, caller. How are you?
Good morning, Mr. Chris. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
That's good. But there was something about the state of Mississippi I learned over PBS. They don't have the luxury of voting the way that we do here in Wisconsin. And I learned that this public broadcasting station. Hey, please go out and vote. This is the dummy of Milwaukee. So leave. Okay, if I can do it, y'all can do it. I got my ballot in through Michelle Bryant and the lady that took over, Miss Lena Taylor's spot, Lakeisha Myers. Thank y'all. But the low level voter here right now that's on the phone, the low level, my vote counts, my voice counts. And when I have to keep holding and I was first in line on the phone list and somebody else got, this is a complaint.
Okay.
Mr. Debo.
She must have been that first caller. Caller, welcome to the program. Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm good. How you?
Okay, my name is Marquise.
What up, Marquise?
Oh, okay. I was just gonna ask a question about it. I've been having a
Marquise, you got to speak. You on speaker, bro?
Oh yeah.
Take it off if you can.
Okay.
All
Hello.
right.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, up. Sound sexy. Yes, we can.
Oh, okay, thank you. Is that Michelle?
Hey man, we talk about politics.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know what's funny about that? You saying that I sound sexy. I got good news for you.
What?
I'm Keon Jackson Malone's cousin. Rest in peace, Keon.
Yay, my man. How you doing, fam?
Oh, I'm okay. That's my dad's nephew.
That's all right.
Love you, Keon.
Yeah.
Yep, that's all right.
Yeah, I was just so I'm a young man with autism. I'm on the board for special. And I've been having trouble. A lot of my black male friends, they don't want to vote for Kamala Harris. So I just need some advice, and I'm just trying to understand like why. Like I got one of my dad's best friends, he's for Trump, and he was just trying to tell me everything that's wrong with Kamala Harris, and he was saying that women are emotional. I'm just trying to have a hard time getting to him.
All right. No, you just going to do what you do, man. We can't. It's too late in the ball game now to worry about those who ain't or those who won't.
Yeah, so I differ with that.
Okay, you have the right.
So
okay, I did get one black male to go out and vote. So my uncle Ronnie Dunlap, he's turning 70 years old today. He's like, brother, I'm from Kamala. So thank you, Uncle Ronnie.
Yay, well, man.
That's what I'm talking
and
about.
Happy birthday, Uncle Ronnie.
You probably got lot more brothers who gonna vote for her. So I ain't worried about the.
I mean, and you know,
Who
and
won't?
the reality is the likelihood is that they probably haven't voted anyway.
Right.
You know, so you didn't vote for Hillary, you didn't vote for Biden. The likelihood is great that you didn't vote for anybody. But I guess for me, you know, I get where Keith is. I'm not going to belabor no conversation, but I am just going to simply tell people like, bro, if you're going to have this conversation with me, have it on facts. This
Okay.
whole emotional and feelings, like women are in some of the most high profile positions in this country right now. Right now, we don't have to wait to see what they're gonna do. They already hold these positions. Many of the times when you go to workplaces, women are in positions of power and authority right now. So if we're gonna have a conversation, at least let's have one based on facts.
Right. Amen. Amen.
Yeah,
Thank you for that.
Thank you, Michelle. She is. Thank you for that. That is.
You know, you're the biggest hater on the planet. Oh my God.
He's really not though.
He's not the biggest hater on the planet. Who's the biggest hater on the planet?
I told you how that piece went, right?
Oh
If
yeah,
he was,
he did.
then he would have, you know. Yeah, but he, you know.
My mama raised me right. I just got a text from one of our Cub reporters, DJ. He said I'm 105 at Marvin Pratt School. I think that's good. I think
the numbers are impressive.
Right. I think it's good because when you think about the number of people who've already voted.
Well, even at that, Keith, look what time it's only 9:30
I'm 9
in the
o'clock.
morning.
And I know we used to get calls. I was
All
number 8.
All day.
I was number 8.
6:15.
I was number 43 at 7:15.
Because somebody checked in from New Hope Baptist Church. I didn't know they had a polling location. Ward number 58. They were number 87 early this morning. So they're doing well. And somebody just texted, and this was a great point too. As we talk about Kamala Harris being emotional, Trump is the most emotional person that has ever lived. All he does is complain. Like, did you see this piece about him talking about he wouldn't mind seeing Kamala Harris get punched in the face by Mike Tyson? Like, what is up with the violence with this cat?
I don't know, but I think Kamala Harris could knock out Mike Tyson now. Nah, he's a shell of himself.
Let's not play.
He's a shell. She can knock him
Kamala
out.
Harris ain't big
I
as
put my
microphone.
money. The don't have to be.
No, sir.
He can't take a punch.
You can say, well, all you want to say.
He got a fight coming
Mike Tyson,
up.
yeah. Mike Tyson is still
a fight.
Mike Tyson is still Mike Tyson.
No, he ain't still Mike Tyson. He
Mike-
ain't Iron Mike. That boy like 10 Mike now. He ain't Iron Mike.
You know what?
10 Mike.
As your little friend came up here bragging about y'all basketball glory days the other day when I got off the station.
Shout out Mike Lindsay.
He was like, you know, Keith, like he acted like it was a whole superstar. I was like, he wasn't cold.
Came up 3 days in a row.
Yeah, you know, Keith. I was like, yeah. Somebody also said, did we catch Tavis Smiley's interview with Kwame Kilpatrick and his BS reason for backing Trump?
That's right, Kwame is.
Because cheaters like cheaters.
And they're both convicted felons.
That's right. Felons, right? I mean, you
twice.
Know. And no
for
shade.
Kwame, twice.
No shade on people who have had a felony and have, you know, done what they needed to do to get back on track. But if you stay stuck on stupid, and Kwame been stuck on stupid, when we went, just real quick, when we went to Detroit for their HBCU Classic, and we were in the suite with Kwame Kilpatrick and his staff, and me and Lena out there. I don't think Keisha was with us, but me and Lena out there. I swear to God, because that was my first time meeting Kwame and being around his team, his family, and everything. I thought his chief of staff was his wife because of the way they were interacting.
That wasn't the chief of staff that they ultimately brought him down, chief
exactly.
of staff. Well, look at you.
And I literally turned to Lena when they said, because I was talking to his bodyguard and I said something about his wife. And he said, that ain't his wife. I was like, what? They said, that's his wife sitting down over there watching the game. This thing that's all up in his face and running point back here is his chief of staff. But the way she interacted with him, any woman looking at that knew like, oh, no, boo, something else is going on up in here. And so, you know, hearing Kwame Kilpatrick support Donald Trump, I totally get it.
But didn't he pardon him?
I think there was a request made. I don't know if he did.
Yeah, because he did have federal charges.
Yeah.
I think he did.
You know, but I mean, but it's a similar, not similar story. Kwame Kilpatrick is the inherent of a political dynasty from his mom and them.
Yep.
I mean, they handed to this dude on a silver platter. He ends up tarnishing his mama's name and all the work they did because you trifling and can't keep your
But you know what?
pants in order.
It wasn't the affair.
It's the lying.
It was a cover up. Yep.
It's always.
I was wondering this morning, had Caitlin gone to vote? And so Rhonda was talking to her. She said, so
And Caitlin is who?
Caitlin's my goddaughter, Kennedy's mama. So she said, well, she dropped Kennedy off at school. She was going to take her, but she's not going to take her because Kennedy does not know how to be quiet. And she'd be in the polling place talking about don't vote for Trump.
Might get both of them put out. Huh?
Get both put out. But and I encourage you, if you haven't voted yet and you have your kids or grandkids, take them with you. I can remember the first time my mom took us with her, and back then kids couldn't be in the voting area, but we went to see her vote. And so I think that you send the message early on the importance of voting because they see that, right? Oh yeah, we go vote. It's part of programming. Voting is not an innate characteristic we're born with.
I wish that schools had to do it too.
And there's some schools that are closing.
I think
if they're polling.
Somebody texted me and said that their school was closing and it was connected to polling.
Polling place, right?
But yeah, I wish that they would have those mock elections. Like we used to back in the day. And I just heard from folks down in Racine. Lines are out the door in Mount Pleasant at the Lutheran Church and Festival Hall in Racine. Somebody else said, I tell black men that Trump is not for children and family. He will destroy all you have built. Do not let rebellion keep you from doing the right thing. When Kamala wins, even the black Trump supporters can get the benefits that we all will receive. A vote for Kamala is a vote for our children.
What are they rebelling against? Did I miss something? Did I miss the revolution meeting?
It is some people that just is on revolution though, for real. Like when I tell you that 8 in 10 black men voted for Hillary Clinton, now all of a sudden, all of these, and it's not nearly, I think, as bad as we believe, but the chorus of brothers that have been out there, it's just like, fam, what are you on, man? Like, I don't understand.
And let me say this, dear brother, it is not, and I agree with Charlemagne the God. We're sitting up here talking about brothers. Talk about the white women, because it's white women that's going to get Donald Trump over. The white women they're many of them are voting against their own interests, and they have been voting Republican since the 50s. There's been no change. Majority of white women vote Republican.
But can we talk about both?
No.
No, why?
No, because I don't want people blaming black men for something that black men are not responsible for. And I understand that we, in our echo chamber, we don't want to hear any dissent. We don't want to hear anybody that might have an opposing view. In my mind, that's healthy. That's called democracy. Everybody ain't going to agree with me. That's all right. That's all right. Because
I think the only thing about it that bothers me, because I don't care that you disagree, but I do care about the content by which you base that disagreement. And the things that are being said are things that literally are putting women and girls back, hundreds of years. And I'm looking at these men like, do you have daughters? Do you have sisters? Do you have women in your life that if you want them going to a workplace, that they are denied an opportunity of promotion because somebody's talking about they're going to be emotional? When as women, we deal with some of the most difficult stuff in life. There is nothing that men deal with that we don't deal with. And we are able to soldier through. We tough it out. We come through, intact and not some emotional big crybaby. So the idea that it's men that are willing to say this out loud, but you got daughters. So it's okay for your daughter not to get a promotion on her job because she might be emotional. Shake your head, dude. I will knock your head off. I'm gonna act just like Donald Trump.
And she gets emotional.
That wasn't emotional. That was a statement.
You couldn't handle emotional.
Yeah, don't confuse a threat with emotion.
She never gets emotional.
Yeah, don't confuse.
Never get emotional.
Y'all see, that's the thing though. Y'all confuse animation and threats with
You can
emotion.
call it. You can call
That's
it
not
animation. Animation.
That's right.
I
And,
know,
and so
animation.
you're not emotional when you come in here and fold your little arms and you'll speak to nobody.
We're listening to Community
and you
Voice. We're
cross
gonna take
your
a quick
little
break
leg,
right now.
and then y'all jump
'Cause I
on the
cannot-
couch. You couch
The
surfer.
emotional level in this. We'll be right
COVID-19 has cast a spotlight on the
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hey, how are you?
I'm fine. Let me get on to speakerphone. There we go. Is that better?
That's better.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Look here. I was number 62 at 36th Street School about 7:45 this morning. I went straight from work,
Okay.
and I would like to say that I wasn't going to vote. And I really can't explain why I didn't have that feeling, but I wasn't going to vote. And I got a text message from somebody that I didn't personally know, what I felt like I knew. And I want to say thank you to Miss Michelle Bryant. And
Oh my God.
I thank you. I thank you.
No, I thank you, bruh. Thank you so much for being open to the idea. Thank you, man.
Thank you, Miss. I appreciate it, and I appreciate that you actually do what you're talking about on the radio. You ain't just a voice, our voice, but you're not just a voice. Your actions speak volumes, and I thank you. And today I followed advice. Okay.
Yes, sir. You just made my day. Thank you so much.
Have a good day. Thank
All
you.
right.
Bye.
Go, hater. Say something. Go, because ain't nobody thanking you. Just go. Look at his face.
What would Keon say is your fault. It's your fault. Another Keon moment. It's your fault.
You know
Oh,
what?
my God. Let me say something in response to the brother called in talking about brothers being emotional. And I said the same thing. I remember a couple of people, Mandela Barnes and Cavalier Johnson, and I would have sisters calling in, and they'd go, I just ain't feeling them. I'm going, you ain't voting for a boyfriend. You ain't voting for a girlfriend. Come on, you feeling it? You know, and I remember back in 2016, people were talking about, oh, I wasn't feeling Hillary Clinton. I said, you feeling Trump right now? Because when we got Trump, we felt Trump in full effect. And now if he gets in again, we're talking about Trump 2.0. 2.0, is that doing right? And man, all guardrails will be off. So all right, let me get this last caller, and then I need to do what I need to do. Caller, welcome to the program. Good morning.
Hello. I didn't get in. I didn't hear you at first. I want to make a couple points.
Okay.
When I was at the University of Butte in 1965, it came out in the city who in this city was eligible to vote at age 18. I'm from Georgia, and so they interviewed me. And in Georgia, I lived in the middle of the Atlanta University, all those colleges, and the students would come in your house and tell you who to vote for. And then instead of saying, how you doing, have you registered to vote? And when they interviewed me in Dubuque, I had not voted. And I'll never forget that. Another point I want to make is in line with Reverend Dr. Parris. It's much more difficult for black men than it is for women. The ones who make it through and do all right are to be praised. It's very difficult. And I have had a lot of role models from Atlanta. All of my teachers were black and most were women. And as far as women go and leading the way, and maybe Michelle has to learn this, how to get a black man to do what you want him to do and make him feel like he did it himself. And y'all have a good one.
Just take the advice. Just take the advice.
You already know.
You
already know I'm getting ready to say
just
something.
take the advice.
You already know I'm getting ready to say something.
You don't always have to say something. Everything that comes up don't have to come out, Michelle Bryant.
Hey, don't nobody make me feel like nothing. Don't nobody like, oh, let me make Michelle think she's smart today. Let me make Michelle, think black. I'm not doing it.
Just couldn't take the advice. No.
Look,
No.
I heard the little comment. I heard it. I appreciate it. There's a time and a place when it's appropriate, but it doesn't work all the time, nor am I going to employ that strategy all the time. Sometimes I need people just to be grown and do what's right.
You know what?
I ain't got to be like leading you and coaxing you and rubbing your back
tough
and
love
making you think that
your
you
tough love is
it
just
was your
too hard.
decision when really it was mine.
Give
I
us
ain't got time for that.
Give us all this
Don't
tough
nobody
love.
do that for sisters.
We don't need.
Don't nobody let sisters think that, oh, she really don't know.
Lord,
This ain't her way.
no.
Is she really doing what I want her to do, but I'm making her think she doing it. Don't nobody do all of that.
And let me say something.
Y'all just tell us
Let me say
it's
something.
gonna be
Let
A,
me-
B, and C.
Let me say something to
and
you.
we have to go along.
To you brothers out here who are talking about you supporting
You
Trump.
emotional brothers.
You making it.
Ralph Trez, man.
You making sensitivity. You making it hard around my house. Because every time
Who
come out,
making it around at your house?
the brothers who ain't doing what they supposed to do, because
Oh,
then
yeah.
I gotta hear it.
Preach.
I gotta hear it.
Preach.
I gotta hear it. Yeah,
Preach.
okay. Because they was like, here
I
we go.
like
and
that.
these dudes are not doing what they're supposed to do, but I'm catching it at the crib.
I'm
I did what I was supposed to do. I voted for Trump. All right, caller, welcome to the program. No, there's no caller. Oh, I got to set up the interview.
Living.
As you all know, we have something here on Fridays from time to time called The Haters Nation. The Haters Nation was my little brainchild because I'm a hater. I've been a hater as long as I can remember. I'm a hater. Now, there's a lot of people out there who won't admit that you're haters, but you're haters. And so my first person of hate in my first Hater Nation was one Mr. John Stevens. Yes, Mr. John Stevens. And so every time we come up and we do Hater Nation, there would be something else that Mr. Stevens had done that made the list. Now, here's how Mr. Stevens made the list. Mr. Stevens made the list not because of any negativity. Mr. Stevens made the list because it always seemed like he was doing it right. Graduated at the top of his high school class, go to an Ivy League school. Fortunately enough to hook up with Lauryn Hill, and the rest is history. And then he becomes an EGOT, won an Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, and a Tony. Yes, folks, it is Mr. John Legend. And then I get a text message from upstairs.
From upstairs.
And it was said, Keith, it has been requested that you interview Mr. John Legend. When my coworkers heard that I had been tapped to interview Mr. John Legend, oh, they gave me a hard time. As a matter of fact, my colleague, Michelle Bryant, you need to be telling how much you hating on him. You just tell him how much you hate on him. Just tell him. If you don't, I'm gonna call his people and say, "Did you know?" So I had the great honor and pleasure yesterday, really was, to have a conversation with John Legend. Here's that interview. It's playing.
See, that was because.
Welcome back to Community Voice, and we're very fortunate to have on the line with us the EGOT, the legend himself, Mr. John Legend. Welcome to the program.
How you doing?
Man, I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great.
I know you're out on behalf of the Harris Walls campaign. Always love to see you here. We do a feature here called, I won't do that. Anyway, so welcome to the program. And no, I just, man, have admired you for many, many years, had a chance to see you perform. And let's see, in the Great Lawn in Central Park, Global Citizens Festival a few years back.
That was incredible.
Yeah. And then there's a young man. Now, let me do, you are a proud graduate of the University of Pennsylvania.
That's absolutely right. Spent a lot of time in Philadelphia.
And the President Trump is also a graduate of Penn University, right?
Yes, and I was actually there at the same time that Junior was there too.
Is that right?
I think he graduated a year after me.
Yeah, he was at Wharton, right?
Wharton is you can go to Wharton undergrad and you can go for grad school as well. But I believe Junior was doing Wharton undergrad when I was at the College of Arts and Sciences.
You know, it was when you guys won you and Common won the Academy Award. They called your names, and I said, I thought John Legend and Common had won.
Yes, John Stevens and Lonnie Rashid Lynn wrote the song. You know, that's what people don't realize a lot of times. And when we do the official writing credits for any song, we usually use our government name for that.
Right.
And so that's how we were credited for our writing of the song, because we were getting honored as songwriters, not as performers.
Right.
And so, they said John Stevens and Lonnie Rashid Lynn, and that's who wrote the song.
You, man, just an incredible journey. But the activism part of you is real. So I see that would be John Stevens, right?
Yes.
That part of you, because you're a husband, you know, you're a dad. I admired you and your wife for sharing the story around the abortion she had to have.
Yeah.
So being able to talk about these issues that we're discussing, maybe in the abstract, for you and your family, some of them are very real, right?
Yes, and they're real for so many families. And what we learned from sharing our miscarriage and abortion story is that so many families go through this, and we don't hear about it. But we heard about it after we shared, because there was just like this groundswell of support for us, but also empathy for us, because a lot of people were going through this a lot of times in silence and not sharing it. And we heard from a lot of them. And everywhere I go with Christy, usually if we're in public, there's at least one person that will come up to her and thank her for sharing it and saying they went through something very similar. And what you'll find out, and I think what the Republicans are finding out now, is that a lot of people care about their reproductive rights, and having that right taken away was a real wake-up call for everyone politically, that really motivated them to get out and vote for a change. And so we've seen it even in red states like Kansas. We've seen it in red states like my home state of Ohio, where when people are given the opportunity to go out and vote for reproductive rights, they're saying, we do want reproductive rights enshrined in our state constitution, and we want the government to stay out of these really intimate decisions and conversations that women have and their families have and their doctors have. The government should not be involved in those. And for us going through what we went through, and then imagining that the government would have a say in how we resolved that situation and dealt with it as a family, and as Christy dealt with what was going on in her body, the idea of the government being involved in that stuff is insane to me. And I think it's insane to most people, and that's why you're seeing this groundswell of rejection of the Dobbs decision, and the rejection of the idea of taking away this right that women have had for 50 years.
I have had the opportunity to have these conversations. We spoke earlier today with Jasmine Crockett. We spoke earlier today with Wanda Sykes. And I have to ask you the same question I asked them. Is this the most, or how consequential is this election?
Well, what makes it so important is the danger that Donald Trump represents. I feel like I've heard this is the most important election before, but I think because of what Donald Trump showed us on January 6th, that he was willing to attack the very constitution of this country, attack the very principles that this country was founded on, attack the Capitol Police, the Congress people who were supposed to do their constitutional duty to certify the election, that he would allow and encourage his followers to go to the Capitol and threaten the life of his own vice president. The fact that he'd be willing to do all that just to uphold a lie that he actually won the election. He knew it was a lie. And if he didn't know it was a lie, it's almost just as bad. That means he's extremely delusional, and we can't trust him with the keys of power. And then once you find out that his former vice president won't support him, that his chief of staff thinks he's a fascist, that his former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff thinks he's a fascist, and they would never want him to lead the country again. Once you know that, the idea of putting him back in power sounds to me like a danger and a risk that America just can't accept. And so it really is that important, because our democracy is on the line. Everything that we believe America stands for, and, you know, we haven't always lived up to what we stand for and the ideals that we stand for, but we've gotten closer and closer because of people like Dr. Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks and Fannie Lou Hamer and all those people who fought for our rights and fought for us to be the democracy that we said we were going to be. All those people fought for that. And then to give power to someone who doesn't believe in any of that, who wants to have a fascist regime, who looks up to Hitler and Nazi Germany as role models and examples of leadership, we can't do that. We can't go back to that.
The level of enthusiasm we're talking, because we know where the country was in July in terms of the state of this race. Why is this race so close?
You know, part of me is like, I have no idea. And, you know, of course, if we look back at this last year, you know, Joe Biden, he's been a wonderful president, but it became clear to everyone that he wasn't going to be able to campaign in a way that could help us win. And I think there's still a little bit of kind of hangover from what happened with the debate and all those things. And so in that comparison, Donald Trump was looking more like the vigorous candidate, the more, you know, active candidate, the more awake candidate. And so I think we were behind, like, dramatically in the polls during that time. But as soon as Kamala Harris entered the race, we've basically drawn it to at least a tie. And I think she's going to win it because she's closing so well. And I think a lot of it was America had to get to know her. You know, when you're vice president, people know who you are, but they don't really know you that well because you're not the leader of the country. You're there if something happens to the president, and you're in the room when a lot of decisions are being made. But I don't think that people get to know you in the same way that they would if you're the president and if you're the presidential candidate. And so she's had to introduce herself to people. And I think she's done such an amazing job of introducing herself, telling people her story, but also listening to them and developing policies that are actually going to help everyday people in their lives, like, you know, healthcare, making sure we have more affordable healthcare, cheaper prescription drugs, making sure that people who are new parents have the kind of support they need to get all the basics for their kids and get their kids off to a great start, to make sure that new home buyers have a little break and a little help to make that first down payment, making sure we build more housing units so that the prices of rent and everything else can go down. So she's been listening to everybody, learning from all of her experience in public office, and then developing policies that are going to make a difference in their lives. And so a lot of this campaign has been a really quick version of her having to introduce herself to people, but also let them know that she's been thinking about their problems and is going to actually propose solutions that will help them. And she's done a great job of that. But, you know, it was always going to be a challenge because it had to happen, you know, within a few months, getting to know her and also getting to know her policies.
I didn't hear. You know, when you said people, I kept thinking ordinary people.
Yes, everyday people, ordinary people. You can go with Sly Stone or John Legend. Everyday people or ordinary people.
She can use it, right? If she want to use it at a campaign stop, she can use it.
Well, I sang it at a rally we did in Philadelphia with President Obama and
cool.
Bruce Springsteen.
Okay.
One of my selections was ordinary people.
Yeah, I know you got to go, but Quincy Jones transition. What did he mean to you?
Oh, let me tell you, I wrote a little post about him this morning, but he was a true friend of mine. And I told the story on Club Shay Shay of the first time I had a conversation with Quincy Jones was him reprimanding me because he had gotten wind that my people were playing hardball with Oprah in a way that wasn't making me look good. And so he found me and called me and said, you need to figure this out and fix it. And tell your people to stop misrepresenting you in that way. And so that was the first time we ever talked. And after that, we became real friends. He was at my wedding when Christy and I got married, and we've done concerts together and collaborated together and recorded together, partied together all over the world. And he just was one of the most important producers, curators, creators, composers that we'll ever see, like ever. And if you just read his autobiography or you look at the documentary that Rashida directed, chronicling his life, you'll just see through the decades how much important culture he was a part of, from Frank Sinatra to Michael Jackson to so many other great artists throughout the years, from Roots to The Color Purple, just so much great film and television as well. He was really involved in so much great art. And I say in my post this morning that he truly has lived one of the most consequential lives in human history. We are so in debt to Quincy Jones and the contribution that he's made to our culture.
I appreciate you. We were sitting and we were talking and doing just a little bio. I said, this brother is so cold. He played Jesus. Can't get much better than that, man. Thank you, man.
Thank you. And we want to encourage everybody not just to get out to vote, but make sure that you talk to your family, your friends, your associates, and everybody knows their power and uses their power to affect how this country is run and the leadership we have in office. I think we've got a clear choice before us, and we have a chance to have a say in that. And I wouldn't let that chance go to waste, that power go to waste.
Mr. John Legend, here on behalf of the Harris Walls campaign, we appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
All right. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Welcome back.
That was a quick break.
Yeah, welcome back.
That was a quick break. Dude, you got to interview John Legend.
I got to interview John Legend.
I am so jealous.
Yeah, well.
But he doesn't sound like he sings. His voice sounds like it's an octave higher when he's speaking versus singing.
Well,
that Michelle A in reverse.
What are you? Are you a soprano, alto? She's a soprano.
I'm an alto. And a tenor.
I didn't ask you what you were.
Oh,
I'm talking to Sharon.
Did you see how he did me?
Talking to a real singer.
Did you? Did you see what he
Can I
did?
talk to the real? Excuse me, just
I
a
was
moment.
in the choir, bruh.
Okay.
All city.
She stands in front of the choir.
I do too. I led songs.
Okay.
Jesus, say, little Michelle. Yes, I know.
This little light of mine.
Trouble in my way. I have to cry sometimes. So much trouble. Don't tell me I can't say.
You got a great.
That's all I got. But don't tell me.
He's a great alto.
He put his hand up like shush.
Trying to talk to the real singer over here. You all up in the video. Oh, I sing a little bit too. I wrote some songs. Y'all want to hear them?
That's what black people do. That's what we do.
We do, right? Let me get that.
We do.
It's like we back on funerals. So how you gonna get up here, do an open mic, and then you gonna try to break out into a song and don't even know the words of the song?
Oh, who did that?
Oh, this happened a couple of times. Sharon been enough of them. Yeah, you be going like
don't know the words
all the time.
Don't know the words,
Don't know
just
the
up
words.
there.
Really?
Just up
Get up
there.
there to do your 2-minute remarks, and then it turns into a song.
Okay.
After
And the
2
Lord
minute
put it on my
remarks.
heart just to tell y'all.
Yes.
Yeah. Let me lead a little something here with you. Trouble in my way. Come on, choir. Y'all know it.
And then we'll get up there and say, now I know I'm not supposed to be singing. Well, if you know you're not supposed to be singing, why are you doing it?
And if I hear one more time, this is hard. Why do you have your ass up here? Sit down. Yeah, it was hard. Your mama just died.
You know what?
If it's too hard, don't get up. If you got to spend 5 minutes with you going through, Katie,
What
because
kind
you
of pastor are you? Sit your
trying to get that funeral done and like,
He real.
hey, Sharon's in the business.
He one of them real
We got to
ones.
get the Graceland.
Yeah. So they pay the overtime fee.
Right.
So awful.
You know you late when they don't even do the bells. You get the
Oh, you know you late when you go to the chapel.
You know what? I can't stand either one of y'all.
You don't get the bell, and then you right over to the
Michelle
chapel.
getting out the kitchen.
Because if you pull up the Graceland, you got the bells going. It's going like, yeah, we on time. Oh, but Sharon,
When hear them bells, go straight to the chapel.
a friend of mine died.
Yes.
And Northwest had 2 funerals at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And so, they're white. So their whole, what do you call it? The entourage, what is it? What do you call what you do? But the cars are white.
Mm-hmm. Right.
We're at what we call at Metropolitan Hill, because there's so many people from Metropolitan Board buried on this hill, at Graceland. So I get there early. I never travel I get there early.
The procession.
Right. So I had a couple people in the car with me, and we go down and we get out the car because we see the white hearse. We get out the car. It's Northwest. And we don't recognize anybody. And I said, I know this was a big funeral, but I didn't see any of these people at the church. And then we saw Rob coming in. Like, oh, there he is. Yeah. So yeah, if it's hard, don't do it. It ain't. You don't have to do it. 414-444-5250. 414-444-5250. The phone lines are open. This has been, and Michelle, we alluded to it. 2016. 2016, I was still at WGOB. And the Dems spent no money here, really. Hillary Clinton didn't visit the state. It was crazy. And then dawned on us, on many of us, that Hillary Clinton hadn't visited the state until after the election. Somebody go, you know what? She never visited. And so there was a whole lot going on. Obviously, you're coming out after 2008, 2012, where we were able to vote for the first black person, period, to be president of the United States. There was a lot of enthusiasm around Barack Obama's candidacy, and people, and we heard the term, they just wasn't feeling Hillary. In 2017, I want to say it was like February of 2017, there was a meeting down at the Brownstone, and Tom Parris, who was then chair of the DNC, said this will never happen again. And he was right. The resources began to pour into the state. We saw it in 2020, where the resources had flowed in. And I'm telling you, this time around, it's been incredible. And I say all that to say that the opportunity that both Michelle and I have had to be able to talk to folks who normally, John Legend, I get to talk to John Legend.
John Legend.
I've talked to the vice president twice.
That's big.
So for a little guy like me, a little nobody, be able to have an opportunity to talk to folks on that level is just been phenomenal. And so
it's awesome that so many actors and actresses and people are getting out, just talking about the voting, and Kamala making sure that we all do our part in all this. I think that that's so much excitement, even on Sunday when Michelle came in to interview Kerry Washington, that was just like, wow, big moment for me. Cause I'm like, hey, I'm in the studio.
They sit up here. I'm listening to the interview, Sharon, and I'm crying in the car.
You crying?
Because they got all emotional. Because when Michelle was telling her about Miss Robinson, right?
Yes.
And you could hear all the emotion because women don't.
Mm.
In Kerry Washington's voice.
Oh, she said, yes, he did.
Man, all that. Oh man, I'm in the car crying like, oh, Miss Robinson.
Mm.
Oh, sis. Yeah, well, man, we sensitive. Don't get real. I try to remember the time it was. You gotta. There is a. I don't know if it's like a healthy competition, but
Mhm.
obviously, if you're a talk show host,
Right.
we call it a get. You want that interview, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so
Definitely.
I've never. There was only one time that I thought I was jealous of Michelle, and it was all a mistake. And I thought, like, wow, because there was this particular interview, and they called and they said, she's gonna do it at this time.
Mm-hmm.
He was gonna do it this time. It was Eric Holder.
Oh, okay.
And I thought they didn't replace me with Michelle. I get a chance, but then it worked out.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a chance to talk to Eric Holder. But I'm gonna say right now, and I always kind of do a recap of my favorite interviews.
Mm-hmm.
And she's on my list right now. Yvette Nicole Brown. That sister. Ooh. I mean, I got a chance to talk to the queen of alliteration, Jasmine Crockett, but man, the level of insight that Yvette Nicole Brown had was just amazing. And who she worked with? What show was she on? Because it's Wendell Pierce's wife who's on Raising Cain, right? I'm trying to think what program. Yvette hasn't done anything really. She's been taking care of her dad. Yeah, she left Hollywood to take care of her dad. So anyway, phone lines are open 414-444-5250, 414-444-5250. Who so far, who's been your favorite interview?
Because we've had I think probably favorite interview to this point. Joe Biden was a good one.
Joe Biden?
I love Joe Biden.
Joe Biden?
I did. I enjoyed talking to Joe. When he said, God love you.
God love you.
that one goes down in history
Rudolph
for
call
me.
it Joe Biden.
No,
Joe Biden.
just saying.
Joe Biden.
I actually like talking to Don Cheadle too, because he's just so smooth and so subdued.
I thought Mouse too. So
Yeah, come on now. But I have had some amazing. Carrie was incredible, so gracious. Everybody I've talked to has been interesting. I haven't had like a dud interview. Everybody and like the information that Susan Rice spits this morning, can't touch her. Can't touch her. Valerie Jarrett, like dude,
I got Valerie Jarrett.
You know, like come on, it's amazing.
She called me Keith.
Is she?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that's why bring it back up. That's why when I was talking to Susan, it felt disrespectful saying, Susan, so tell me. I was like, I need to be calling this. I need to put a handle on this.
I love Susan Rice. She's just little and smart.
I was telling Debo, like, the smallest thing in the room.
Yep.
But when she get done, you're going to understand who the boss was that just walked up out of there.
Well,
brilliant.
The worst, and this wasn't this election cycle, this was another one, was Ayanna Presley. That was my worst interview.
Which one?
Ayanna Presley.
Oh yeah, you said that a couple of times.
That was my worst.
Who? That was Kwabena.
Kwabena did Lenny.
Yeah. Kwabena did that one.
All right, you listen to Community Voice Caller. You can call back 414-444-5250. It's election day in the city. If you haven't voted yet, get up and go. The weather's not an issue. We're looking, it seems like people are steadily walking into Atkinson Library, which is a voting site. And so let's get out and vote, y'all. We'll be right back. so our comebacks are going out, are coming in. Yeah, and that backstory on that was the song I really wanted to originally use to open the program had already been used for another program, and I'm a big Donny Hathaway fan, and so I was just going through, and I said something that's kind of just played it, kind of clicked with me. I was able to do Open Our Eyes, so that little piece of it I was able to do, but. Yeah, and that's a throwback. Even though I use the primary "Open Our Eyes" is Earth, Wind and Fire's version from the album of the same title, "Open Our Eyes." Yeah. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Good morning. Oh, well, first of all, I want to say give a big thank you to everybody that's out here voting. But I got a question for you and the people in the room. I noticed yesterday that a lot of men are so jaded and bitter when it comes to a woman. And what I find to be so odd, a lot of them was raised by their mother or their grandmother because their daddy didn't want them. And he went on the other side of town to make the other family, but didn't come back. But I keep hearing them bringing up this abortion, but they act like they didn't pay for an abortion themselves when they stepped out on that girlfriend they really wanted who didn't want them or that wife. You paid for that abortion, but then at the end of the day, they're not going to raise that child. They're going to sit there and say, it's not mine. And then if you go further and they get all biblical, don't you find it odd when they get out of shape and out of touch, they always want to get close to Christ? But when in their younger days, they was running the streets, coming home smelling like tuna fish, sheep, liquor, and juices, they would go past the church and wouldn't stop. But now everybody want to talk all this biblical, what's wrong and judgment. And here's where it gets rich. You remember back in the 80s and 90s when the church folks would get the foster childs and was using them for checks just to buy them used Lincolns. And when the air suspension go, they park them in the back next to the garage because they couldn't pay it off, or they was buying them used conversion vans and them Cadillacs. And when they got the electrical issue, they couldn't trade the car back in, so they did insurance claim. But then when they asked, the agency asked them, did you want to adopt a foster child? Those so-called religious people will say no and send the foster child back to get another foster kid. But now everybody want to scream that they against abortion. Don't you find that out how everybody got all these religious views and how they against all kind of women? But they was raised by a woman themselves because their daddy is still with the woman and the other family and left them. What's up with that?
We tried to talk about that, Al, last week with the village doctors, Kwaku and Dr. Leah Knox. There is a dynamic tension. And there are men who, maybe because of their relationship with their mothers, have a very dim view of women. It's not just black men, though, men in general. So I agree in terms of that. The abortion issue is real interesting. We've had conversations. I've talked to brothers, and you get this. You get, well, what if I don't want to have the baby? Okay, excuse me, a little too late. You'd have made it. Or, she didn't have to get an abortion. Well, that's complicated because, as you pointed out, Al, you may or may not be a responsible father stepping in to do what you're supposed to do. So that's an issue. But yeah, I mean, in terms of our relationship with women, a lot of that is really formed, I think, based on the relationships we have with our moms and what that looks like. And then I think the other thing is, then you have your interpersonal piece of that, right? You done broke up with your girlfriend, and so then that turns into something too. So I think it's complicated, it's layered, and that's why I'm not going to be critical of men, because I'm still working through some of my misogyny issues. So.
Well, I embrace women all day, and women always been the lioness of the nest, because a woman will go outside and fight before the man with no hesitation. The devil will be right outside. That man that say, no, step down, that woman say, hold on, I got that. Let me handle it. I just don't. I'm just trying to understand. But here's where it gets rich. Where do the men come back to where they can't hold their own spirit and they about to die because they don't. Some of them don't have enough to go to the nursing home, but they always come back to that black woman, or they find God with Christ where He say one more two, you be buried in your best boots. But y'all don't go to that nursing home. Y'all come back to that woman when you ready to die on her. But when you up in them streets smelling yourself, making all them outside children, creating all them journeys and experience with everybody else. Don't nobody got nothing to say. But I just wanted to share that information. Y'all have a good day.
All right. Yeah.
Well,
You have a son. You have a son, right? Or daughter? You have
a
son?
daughter.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's rough out here, man. Trying to raise boys. It's always been difficult raising boys, but yeah, I think it's complicated.
Definitely has.
Yeah, it is really complicated. Let me do this real quickly. There are some folks who are going to the Capitol Drive, 60th and Capitol early voting center. That is not a voting site today. Deneen Park, 6909. Am I reading that right, Carvey? West Vienna Avenue. So if you're going to Capitol Drive, that location on 60th and Capitol to vote, they're not voting there. Check my vote. Check my vote to see where your voting location is. You just put it in, your name, your date of birth, and then they'll let you know if you're a registered voter, and then they'll let you know if you say look for polling, just keep searching. They'll let you know where you need to go vote. For a lot of folks, I would suggest that maybe before you go, that you make sure that you have the right polling location. Someone was sharing with me that there had been a change based on the redrawing of district lines. So you might be voting someplace else. They could have sent you a card letting you know. But if not, just go to my vote. And it's real simple to let you know. Caller, where you go? Caller, welcome to the program. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Parris.
Good morning, brother.
Thank you for taking my call, sir. Assalamu alaikum to you all. And this is not I'm not making a comment concerning anything about the election or anything like that. But I'm just speaking generally about concerning about being a black man who is a father. And, I know what the process of procreation takes. But I wanted to say that wow, if you are practicing homosexuality, you are practicing abortion.
No, you're
because
not.
Mr. Parris, Mr. Parris, if two men do not produce,
that is not an abortion, man.
That has to do, Mr. Parris, the same. That can be a part of the argument because two people of the like species are not going to reproduce themselves.
Okay.
The process by biologically speaking, Mr. Parris,
there are gay
it
men
takes
and
a
women
man
who are,
and a woman, right?
There are
with
gay
a
men and
surrogate,
women,
Mr. Parris.
There are gay men and women. There are
because
gay
the
men
word
and women
gay
who have
means
children.
happy. I'm certain of that because that's all over the place. But I understand that naturally speaking, as a man, you, Mr. Parris, and no other man, unless it's some type of recreated man or whatever that is, then you probably can do that. And then this person present itself as the reproductive route of yourself, but two of the same cannot reproduce. Like repels and opposites
But that's
attract,
not an
Mr.
abortion.
Parris.
You can't have an abortion.
And here,
Bring
Mr.
him
Parris, Mr. Parris, can I say this? And I'll go.
Okay, say what you're gonna say, because
Yes.
this is not scientifically valid.
Yeah, please, Mr. Parris. If two male dogs are intermingling with one another, they are not doing anything to reproduce one another, the other. That's death, Mr. Parris. And that's scientific and that's biological. And there's no other route by which that can occur other than the route by where a woman is involved. Mr. Parris.
Appreciate you, man. All right, let's do this. In order to have an abortion, one would have to be pregnant. Okay? In order to have an abortion, one needs to be pregnant. That is the medical procedure, right? You are ending or terminating a pregnancy. It has nothing to do with prior to. That all kicks in when a woman gets pregnant. And because only women get pregnant, in my mind, the discussion around abortion should be led by women and not by men. Two things have come up in this campaign that was really troubling. And Michelle, you can tell me if I'm wrong on this. I think this is the third election cycle for Tammy Baldwin as a U.S. Senator.
Yes.
The first two we never heard about her sexual orientation. This time around, because Republicans can't really, we're going to run on the economy, but the economy has gotten better. They're running on immigration, but border crossings have dropped. So what do you have? Eric Hubney was down by 8 points in August. When Eric Hubney started running these homophobic ads, his poll numbers went up. That resonates not just with so-called red people, but it resonates with a whole lot of Black people who have their issues around homosexuality. Now, Tammy Baldwin, in everybody's estimation, has been a very good, if not great, U.S. Senator, right? Tammy Baldwin is always present. Okay, not to mention, and so all of a sudden, and they started off very subtly, and I'm sure they were testing what the response would be when they began to mention her girlfriend, and once they started talking about her partner, and then it accelerated into, and at the same time, you got where Donald Trump's folks are running ads saying that Kamala Harris wants biological men to play in women's sports. This whole trans issue. And so what it's doing is resonating, and I think, I'm trying to think who it was yesterday, Wanda Sykes, who said that they're playing on your fears. They're playing on your fears. They're playing your emotions. You're being pimped. And so if that's your single issue, and I'm gonna go out here and say, normally I don't, I'm usually agnostic on things. Men, I don't know how abortion is your single issue unless you're supportive. Because here's the one thing, you can never have an abortion because you can't get pregnant. So when we sit up and have this conversation, people try to get all biblical. There's nothing in the Bible about abortions. You can't show me. It's murder. That ain't murder. You conferring personhood on an organism that has not even fully been developed, has not developed consciousness, all those things that makes us human. Now, if you don't want an abortion, don't get one. But it's not for anybody to tell somebody. Here's the other thing. It's not for anybody, and you can use your Bible, your Jesus, to tell anybody who they should love. Your Jesus and your Bible.
How many Jesuses?
There's a lot of Jesuses out there. John Legend. I talked to Jesus yesterday, and he talked about abortion. But no, I mean, it's a killer to me. And then Black folks sometimes with our pseudo religious superiority, well, we never do that. First of all, dude, you might not know this. Black women are only 13% of the population. Black women make up 16% of the abortions. Black women are having abortions. And let's look at the Catholic Church, and I'm not a criticism of the Catholic Church in this way, their prohibition on contraceptives. Well, 80% of Catholic women use contraceptives. So at least they're pushing back and saying to the Pope and to the cardinals and to the archbishops, you don't have any control over my body, and I'm not going to allow you. So when it came down to the whole issue of reproductive rights, and then let's talk about Black female mortality. When you look at the birth outcomes of Black women, negative on you can be the most educated, you can have the best health care, you can be in the best shape, but if you're a Black woman, the chances of you having difficulties in your pregnancy is 2 times higher than it would be for a white woman. So y'all think about that for a moment. So when you get all in talking about women and their emotions, you get all in your emotions, you care so much about abortion, care that we make sure we take care of the kids that are here. Let's have that conversation. All right, you're listening to Community Voice. I'm your host, Keith Parris.
Sounded a little emotional.
Did I get a little emotional? We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Community Voice. And again, I'm sorry for that rant.
Oh, is that his calm voice? I was like, I looked
He done
over like,
calmed
what is
down
this
now.
voice? Oh, look at you.
Let's do this. We're looking for.
Did you need some Kleenex?
No, not yet.
Wait, did you need a tissue?
I was not over yet. Somebody go say something, get me crying up in this piece. Caller, I got to do this real quickly because we're expecting a call at around 10:40. Caller, welcome to the program.
Yes, I just wanted to double back. I'm sorry for double dipping, but my last question to all the people who are upset: absolutely no kids come from eating that chocolate cupcake, and should nobody be drinking from your lead lateral. And the other thing is why are y'all so pressed to be in everybody else's bedroom? Because they sure in the hell ain't asked to come in yours because don't nobody want it. Rain check it, they don't even ask for it anymore. Happy day.
What's the lead lateral?
You know what
Al,
All right, thank you, caller. Appreciate
don't
you.
don't try to rush him off the boat. What is a lead lateral, Al? You are
Let's keep
crazy.
this on when we need to keep this on.
we dealing with lead laterals in the city of Milwaukee.
Yeah, but that wasn't the lead lateral he was talking about. Caller, welcome to the program. Good morning.
That boy is crazy.
Good morning. This is Ryan with the Harris campaign. I'm calling
Hi.
to connect Maya Harris.
Oh, great. Excellent.
Okay, let me go ahead and get her on the line.
All right. Thank you.
No problem.
Dude, you didn't want.
Oh, one quick question. Do I have Romel on the line right now?
No. And take us off of take this answer.
Okay,
Yeah.
hold on. All right.
All right. I'm still here as we get our next guest. Very, very, very special guest. Yep. So, again, just for your, someone just texted me. They said that if you registered outside on the streets, like at a pick and save outside the store, you should be patient. A lot of those didn't get in, so they will need to register on site. So I don't know what Pick and Save was doing the registration outside of Pick and Save. Thank you very much. Outside of the Pick and Save, that your registration did not get down in time to be added to the rolls, so you probably will have to register on site. Now, I don't know if we're talking to any of those folks.
And go. You can go to myvote.gov.
Go to myvote.gov. And again, you just put in your name and your date of birth, and it will let you know where you go to vote. And this really
And
is
if you registered.
And if you registered, this is a great feature, man. I mean, we're able to track ballots. I mean, the whole thing. So anyway, are we ready? You ready? Yes. Okay. You bring her up.
Mhm.
Good morning. We have on the line with us Miss Maya Harris, the sister of Vice President Kamala Harris. Good morning.
Good morning, Keith. How are you?
I'm doing well. I was getting ready to call you the second sister because literally you are.
I've been hearing that out on
Oh,
the
your
trail.
life,
Let
right.
me
I was
tell
going to
you.
ask you.
I've been hearing that out on the trail. So, people have said, oh, it's America's sister out there. So,
Yeah, how is that? Because in real life, we know that siblings have their unique relationships. What is that like to see your big sister on this stage, and how well she's comported herself on this stage?
oh, I'm so proud of her. As I have always been my entire life, am so inspired by her. I look up to her. And honestly, I'm just excited because I know who she is, and she's always been a fighter. She's fierce. She stands up for people. She doesn't back down from challenges. And I just know that that's who she'll be as president. And so I am just excited about all of what's possible with a Kamala Harris presidency. And, she's really been out there, and I'm so proud to see how she has painted a vision for the future that, unlike her opponent who's focused on grievance and has an enemies list, right? She's really got a long to-do list of all the plans that she has to make people's lives better, which is what she has done her entire life and why she spent her entire career in public service. So I'm excited. I'm inspired, and I do still look up to my big sister.
Were you with her with the whole ironing board thing? When she set up the ironing board to talk to people?
Yes, you're talking about our first race for district attorney when she was out there with an ironing board in front of shopping centers and anywhere she could go. And, listen, let me tell you, nothing has changed in this way, meaning she's not out there with an actual ironing board, but she was out there with an ironing board because she was focused and she was determined. She knew what she was going to do if she was elected district attorney, and she was going to leave no stone unturned and leave everything on the field. And back then in 2003, if that meant taking her ironing board and standing in front of the grocery store to talk to voters, that's what she was going to do. And today, I'm telling you, she is still out there talking to voters, not taking anything for granted. She is sprinting to the finish line as she has done since that very first election. And she is out there telling voters to do the same because people need to keep going to the polls until they close, because every vote is going to count and we cannot take a single thing for granted. And so we're just telling people, if you haven't made your plan yet, go to wisdems, wisdems.org/vote, wisdems.org/vote. Make your plan. Do not let up until the polls close and not a single more vote can be cast. Every vote is going to count in this election.
You'll be at Howard University this evening?
Well, we'll see. I mean, right, like I said, we are staying very focused on what we need to do between now and the time every poll closes across the state. And then once we get to the other side of that, we will see where we are. But we are really focused on continuing to close also this campaign with an optimistic, positive message. And that's really also what Kamala is focused on today, because the choice in this election is so stark. It's so clear, and it really is about, are we going to turn the page on the chaos and division and really move forward to a newer and brighter future where everyone can prosper? And that's who Kamala is. She wants to be a president for all Americans and fight for all Americans to make your lives better. And so we're just staying focused on that today. And after the polls close, we can cross that bridge when we get there. But we need everybody to get out there and vote, and and know that their vote's going to matter. Stand in line if you're in line. Stay in line. Make sure you make your voice heard. This is the most consequential election of our lifetime. And yes, it's exciting that it's my sister who's on the ballot. But as an American, I have to say, I just feel as determined as everyone else that we have got to cast every single vote to get Kamala elected president.
This probably came as no surprise to you. My last question came as no surprise to you, but how ready she was when she received the call that she would be at the top of the ticket.
Yeah, Kamala has had her entire career has been in public service, and we learned from an early age that no matter what it is that you are setting out to do, that you should do your best and you should be prepared. And so the idea that she would be prepared, the idea that she would be, beyond qualified, the idea that she would have all the experience you would hope for and expect from someone who wants to lead this country is no surprise to me, based on how she has been her entire life and how we were raised, which was with parents who had great expectations of us, but even greater expectations for us. And to always be ready to step up, serve, and stand up for other people. So I was not the least bit surprised that she was not only prepared and ready to meet this challenge, but that she willingly, took on this immense responsibility and really opportunity to have greater impact for people she's been fighting for since day one.
Well, we appreciate you. What, America's little sister or America's sister? How you?
Listen,
Little
I'll always
sis.
be the little sister, and she'll always be the big sister. So I don't know. I guess when this is all over, maybe I'll have a chance to call her big sister, Madam President.
There you go. Appreciate you, Miss Maya Harris, the sister of Vice President Kamala Harris, here talking about. Can you give us one more reason why we should vote?
If you want to make your life better, if you want a president who is focused on you and not on themselves, that's focused on a positive future as opposed to a grievance and an enemies list, if you want to move this country forward, turn the page on the chaos, there is only one choice in this election, and that is Kamala Harris. So let's get out there and vote. Every vote's going to count. And just make your voice heard today. It's the most consequential election in our lifetime.
Is Maya Rudolph dead on with your sister?
Wasn't that just fabulous? Wasn't that just fabulous? So listen, since you brought up Maya Rudolph, our family's other Maya, let me just tell you, what she would say today is keep Kamala and carry on a lot. Keep going, go to the polls, keep going.
I appreciate you. Ms. Maya Harris, the sister of Vice President Kamala Harris, here in support of her sister. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Keith.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
She even before she got,
I love her.
Oh, she is.
She is so well. You can tell she's a little sister.
Her.
She
Yeah.
just seems all carefree. Like, I don't have these kind of worries.
That's the pressure.
My big sister go look out for all. I love. She's very, like you said, down to earth. I love her spirit.
It is.
That's being for me in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I say. Siblings are kind of, you got your relationship right in public. Oh, they look like, but when you come to the crib, right? But no, I think that and it's so amazing when you look at her personality. Some people might have been like, I don't know if I could do this. Kamala, it was just like,
like leadership, the way her mother, talked to them about responsibility, and then having that real life example.
But she said her mother and father were activists. They were not militant.
I mean, like took them to the meetings.
To the meetings,
like
yeah.
Everybody getting dragged to the meetings. But it's funny because you do see Kamala, like especially in some of those photos, like childhood photos. Her face is not no whole bunch of cheesing going on.
Right, she's serious.
She's serious, arms folded. Usually, she got them looks, some serious, pensive, stares. And Maya just like, where the ball at? Like, where the bubbles?
But I appreciate people who are ticklish. I love ticklish people. I think ticklish.
You can hear it in her voice.
You could hear it. Yeah, they like to laugh, and everybody was getting on Kamala's laugh, but that's a hearty, genuine laugh.
But
Stuff
even
is
to
funny. To
appreciate what folks were able to do when they said that Black people, Black women in particular, haven't been given the freedom to laugh, to be those, because you always got to worry about how you're being perceived, and if I'm being taken seriously, and you can't seem like you have joy. And I never really thought about that until I've heard some of these things kind of come up in the campaign, because I know my laugh is ridiculous. And I remember when I first started, I had callers who would, tell people behind the scenes that my laugh got on their nerves, that I laughed too much. It was too much going on in the world. How dare you laugh so much? And then one thing I said to people like, well, you can go and turn the dial.
Right.
Because, I laugh by myself.
Oh, we're going to have fun here.
All the time.
Yeah.
I laugh at home.
And Michelle will tell you, and I've said this to her, when it stops being fun for me, I'm going to stop doing it.
Exactly.
It's fun.
Exactly.
It
I got
is.
to.
And it's also enlightening as well as entertaining, because, I'd like to say that the level of information that you get here at WNOV, man. All right, let's get these callers. Caller, welcome to the program.
Comment. Hello?
Good morning. Turn your radio down.
Good morning. Yes, I'm getting ready to do that. Good morning. How you guys doing this morning?
What's happening?
Good. How are you?
Well, one thing, Lena Taylor's mom, this is the anniversary of Lena Taylor's mom passing away. I got with her this morning, And she just says, make sure you tell everybody to vote. And that's one thing I do. But we're looking at, I was listening to the young man and the people who speaks about the women that, or the men that don't want to vote for Kamala because most of them with single mothers. You know, the one thing everybody is not the same. Your mom might have got on you about things that you were doing. It's sad when the dad is not there, but a lot of times it's not even the dad's fault. You know, I'm in a situation right now. I'm raising my daughter. She'll be 14 in December. And her mom don't do anything for her. And said, yeah, you're doing a good job, you know, and won't do anything for my daughter. I asked her to do her hair. She said, you're gonna buy the product or you're gonna pay me. But I don't worry about them things because this is my daughter. This is my job. This is my feed. You know, being raised with mom and dad, 16 of us, 10 girls, 6 boys. You know, I've seen the ins and outs of women, but I've seen women make some great decisions. I have no problem with this woman stepping up. If anybody knows the Bible, there was a woman in the Bible named Deborah. God gave her the opportunity. She ran it. She ran it, 40 years. But people, I believe this is another right here that God is putting a woman because there is not a man that's willing to go up to the challenge of this idiot. How can we put an idiot in the office? Someone that don't even like no one if they're not on his side. So with even our men that's going out here talking about Trump has done this, Trump done nothing for nobody. He wouldn't even give a black person a contract in his company, and didn't want to let them rent from him. So we need to do our homework before we go out start judging people and saying, I don't think she could do the job. The woman is too educated. She knows too much. She's been there for the people. So now, why should we, as a people, not want to bag someone that's willing to fight for our rights and then bagging someone that don't care about our rights? God bless you guys.
All right. Appreciate you, man. Yeah. So let me thank Mr. John Legend. Let me thank Miss Maya Harris. Let me thank all the callers. I will be joining you all later on Election Central today. Keep it tuned. If you haven't gone to vote, you can go vote. Debo just got back. He just wanted to vote. He just wanted to vote. He wanted to vote. How was it like when you went to vote?
It was infectious, man. I mean, the folks were excited.
Good line.
I was number 77, which is high for where I typically vote at.
Okay.
For this time of day. So yeah, awesome. And when you factor in the fact that there are 3-4 wards, particularly at a polling place, 77, I don't know how many were in the other wards, of course, but certainly a lot of folks moving around, a lot of excitement. Just so happens, my polling place, I didn't see a DJ, but I mean, that didn't deter me at all. But certainly if you looking to be entertained.
Well, the DJ is down over here. He gone.
He gone?
He gone. The tent is gone.
I thought they were going to be doing it until 8 o'clock tonight.
Where I was at, there was a DJ. They was out
We
there
can't hear
jamming.
you, man. Turn the mic up.
Oh, you can't hear me?
Now we can.
Said where I was at, they was out there jamming, man. And I was,
Oh, he was jamming over here, but he ain't there no more.
and I was number
He was-
165.
You 165.
165. What's your polling site?
Sherman, the old Park Lawn, Assembly of God.
Oh,
older part?
the embassy.
Embassy, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's called Embassy now.
All right.
When they start making churches polling sites?
Churches, a lot of churches. Metropolitan was a poll. I think it still might be. It was polling site. There's some churches that are polling sites.
Michelle may mention that New Hope here.
Yep, New Hope is, and it sounds like St. Mark is, because they had a situation up there. So,
okay,
yeah, I don't know if it is or not. So, if you haven't voted, go to My Vote. Let you know where to vote. If you need to register to vote, then they'll tell you where to go and what you need to bring to register to vote at the site. Hey, and if you're not a registered voter, great thing in Wisconsin is you can vote. You can register to vote on site. All you need to do is take proof of residency and ID.
Yeah, let me just add that there were a lot of folks in the registration line actually registering to vote today as well.
All right. All right. I'll talk to you all later on this afternoon. And as always, go from this place in peace.